Peace and blessings, family. Sister Anjali. Wow! So, Paris Milan, who I have spoken regarding many times. It was all on my old larger channel that I guess it got to be really obvious that it stayed at 25K and never rose, and they finally just said, well, you know, what our enemy desperately needs to maintain is some aura of legitimacy. I broke it down. I'm going to put it at the end screen at this video. White noise. I did a whole analysis where they just confess. They confessed all over the place. And one of the things they said is in conducting their plan, their plot, never make it seem as if you are conducting a plan or a plot. So different things that they were doing that were just obviously tyrannical, such as they still have the epic censorship. That's tyrannical. And they can't give that one up because they've gotten an order from the satanic elites through Kissinger. Don't stop, don't stop. But they used to delete all of our comments. Or not all of them, but you know, the ones that were most effective. And so now they've done a Facebook maneuver where it's just to ghettoize certain speech and information so that it seems as if it's only reaching a certain amount of people, when I know I'm reaching far more people than you would ever get from looking at the number of views. And I don't, at this point in time, the view, the popularity, that's not important to me, as if you get my warning. And now, all of that said, so I don't even know what the heck I was just saying, but Paris Milan is getting married. She's been engaged. My sincere congratulations to her. I have no love for Paris Milan. Even if this is a sincere effort on herself at a long-term happiness, I'm always so shocked when I see so many operatives of all colors who are willing to just completely exit any potential personal fulfillment in order to continue in their operative propaganda towards black us, towards the entire world, so that they never have a family. And I don't just mean a child. To become, you know, single parent is rife for potential dysfunction. I'm not saying that the person, that one parent, doesn't do their best but with the greater nation state in such disarray due to the dedicated insanity that the devil is putting out there, it's really far more difficult to raise a child in a single parent household, or in what they're trying to put out there is viable same-sex parent household. Hell no. It's really difficult to raise a child in that situation and not lose them to the greater lunacy. It's difficult in a two-parent, same black man, black woman household to not have the entreatments from outside just infest your child, so that they feel as if the way that you've sanely raised them might have, they were deprived in some way or another. All of that said, I do wish her the best. So, the divestors are really upset with Paris. And I'm just like, she built up an entire audience of people she was, I guess, lying to. In any regard, she was just lying straight up. I understand when she first came out, she was acting as if she was pro-black. And because you have to be acting. Nobody does a flip where you suddenly just can't stand being black and everything about it, and you were pro-black. That's not possible. You're either just not capable of deep thought, or you're just a bold-faced liar like a Cynthia G. I realized that from the jump. She was sent in to gain a following amongst us, and then you know, kind of lead us like a Pied Piper off the cliff. And most of us never went, but there were plenty who got fortified in their delusional concepts of themselves and of us. And so there are a lot of folks who are really mad at Paris, but these are people who, they don't think straight in the first place. Anybody, they've lost, and just like the white man has lost and lost, and they're the only ones who don't realize it. Paris Milan was lying all the time that she's been up here encouraging black women to exit themselves from existence, to enter potentially deadly situations where there would be no redress of the assault made upon them, and to somehow or another encourage them to just cognitively cut themselves off from long-term thinking of the results of their divestment actions, which divestment in and of itself is nothing but an encouragement to prostitution. And this whole grouping of black women are nothing more than an unofficially, you know, it's not registered at the UN, but it is the first concubine nation to a whole just aggressor, attacker. And they'll do so with joy and not realizing they're actually putting all black women into danger because they're so step and fetch it, bowed down to white people, Asian people, Latino people, that they make every black woman out there seem as if I'm not interested in you, dude. It seemed as if we're being standoffish. Like I had spoken of the murder of a sister, Somalian sister at Princeton. And then there was another black woman who her dorm door was taken off the hinges and a note was left that just said, "Be nicer." Was it the same person? We don't know. But why? Why does a black woman have to be nicer? According to who? You who would try to scare her that viciously? What level of niceness do you require? So we're talking about the most violent people on the planet who are in the midst of killing everything and covering it up. You can't find a serial murderer with a track record more bloodthirsty than those who are responsible for lying and conducting Fukushima fallout. You know it was on purpose, because otherwise they tell the truth, and the truth is out there. I have a whole growing library which proves they know what this stuff does, and they've just over the decades gone about exactingly hiding it. So how the hell you gonna have a people so freaking vicious, and you're gonna create a half nation, meaning the bunches of black women, clueless black women, bow down to these dudes, and it's some sort of rise in stature, it's a divestment? No, it's just prostitution. It's just prostitution. That's all it is. And you're setting out this idea like they got pink dudes out here who will sit back and say, "Oh yeah, you want to get an easy score? Go to the black woman. They're so desperate even for a compliment from us." So for Paris Milan, all these years, years, every day, to be speaking against the only rescue that we have physically in our midst right now, which is the black man, the sane black man, and not to give black women guidance on how to locate really amazing brothers. There's plenty of them out there. Obviously, Paris Milan found one, supposedly, right? But to not direct them with the Most High in charge of what you say, even if you don't speak his name. I'm sorry, that's a Negropean hookup right there. It is God, and I don't wish this for her, But when you got one Negro peon and another Negro peon together, and I would kind of qualify her as fully Afro-Saxon, those are materialistic people, and she's confessed that herself. She's a materialist. These are very shallow-minded persons, and thereby oftentimes they're not together for the right reasons. Not because real long-term love, it can't be based on just stuff, because sometimes things happen and the stuff disappears, and there's all sorts of stuff because of Fukushima fallout that this devil is going to make certain happen. He is planning for famine worldwide, globally. And you are going to be in a situation where you just are living a life so you could show off to your friends that you got some bank. How shallow is that? You're not going to be there in a way where you're like, well, what can I do for my community? That's problematic, but it's better than being with a non-black man. And so again, my sincere congratulations. Now, when it comes to these channels that are gigantic, and I highly doubt Paris Milan's, because she still is adequately Afro-Saxon. With a name like Paris Milan, you got to be Afro-Saxon. Because France, when it comes to black us in Africa, oh my goodness. And I understand she applauds non-born in the unentitled snakes of America black men. But she won't call herself Paris Milan, really? So in these channels getting so much attention and acclaim, I spoke on them because I'm talking about how Paris is disingenuous in her rhetoric. If she's now marrying a black man and she was out there bashing black men. But in highlighting these swirlers, the bed bugs, the, what are they, save yourself black man. I haven't spoken specifically on the passport bros, but same thing. I did that because our enemy is desperate to use these operative voices to maintain our just automatic assumption that we're the worst people on the planet. Ain't no damn way we're the worst people on the planet when you got the whole Pacific Ocean in free fall death going on. And they're not saying a damn thing. And the one person in the whole black world who was speaking on it, they took away, not my voice, they can't take that away, but they wanted to minimize the authority of my signature up here on social media. They still can't do that because I'm just building. But before I get to what I'm building, which sometimes I'm too happy to be up on here, okay? But I'm just saying, I spoke against them, the swirlers and all that lunacy, the Afro-Saxon lunacy, because I recognize that is one of the reasons why we wind up not taking a black woman like me seriously. And still, even if you do understand what I'm talking about, you're not taking my warning seriously enough, so that you will actually purchase this book, read this book. Okay, you don't have to, I got it in sections so that you can, and I even put chapters, which for me is not really that easy. I'm just impatient, and I've said it in another share where I'm just lazy, okay? But I know that I had to do things correctly so that you could reference it. So I got chapters up here where you could just say, okay, let's see now. I need to minimize my intake of high radiation absorbing foods. How do I do that? And then I have a list of the things that you can avoid. We need to refine this list. And so I've been busy just producing all kinds of amazing products. My king's been busy producing products in order to build up capital to do what needs to be done. See, I love black business. I'm not mad at all. I'm like, we need to stop sending whole other non-black families and their children to Harvard and Yale and Princeton and all the rest of it. I don't need to go to Princeton, Harvard, Yale, or any of it, because I am just independently curious about the details of man-made radiation. My king is just independently, but he's also a member of the nation of Arna. And so he constantly is doing research on melanated health, which is very, very different from a generalized based on white people healing concepts, which don't heal at all. And so I spoke against the whole swirling mentality because it has this presumption that non-black people are just better. Nothing of the sort is true. Nothing at all. And we know that. But do we know that? Do we know that enough so you support pro-black business? Because as I build, I'm going to get our food tested. I'm going to offer products. Like right now, I'm in the midst of, I did the research on how to make apple pectin. And even though I'm not going to be able to afford that organic label, all I'm going to use is organic ingredients, because I care mightily about us. Do the research on apple pectin and radiation, because in Chernobyl they found out that it removed upwards of 62% of the radiation from children's bodies, but it didn't impede their body's ability to absorb vitamins and minerals vital to the rapid growth of children. That's powerful, because there's a lot of chelators out there. But in my book, because I'm always learning, I don't recommend many of the, until there's adequate testing, I don't recommend the chelating modalities. But apple pectin's been proven again and again to be safe for children. That's an amazing, mighty thing. And there was a sister who's pregnant, beautifully, wonderfully pregnant. That's another thing that was it Paris Milan? No, it was Chrissy. Chrissy was the one who I was upset that she was trying to talk black women out of having babies. Oh my goodness. But a sister with my soap, on the New Black soap and on the Silbar soap, I have a warning: do not use if pregnant. If you're not pregnant, it's fine, it's good, because you're bathing every now and then, hopefully once a day, and not like the, Caucasoid folks are recommending. But on the Nzinga, it's safe for babies. Oh my goodness, it's so safe. Every single ingredient in there. It's so beneficial too. It's incredible. And so I want to produce my own organic apple pectin powder, which I will not be able to state on the label that it's organic, but I'm already researching ways to preserve the powder, the best way to dehydrate the apple pectin itself, and it's a beautiful thing. I love it. I love producing. Oh my goodness. And that's because I'm not here to do what these people who are supported by our enemy wind up doing, which is just to take advantage of you. No. That's not what this is about. See, as a pro-black business, I'm going to keep building until I get our food tested for radiation. Okay? And so, step away from any even echo of these lunatics, just rhetoric, because even if you're getting married to a black man, that's a wonderful thing. But are you ever gonna apologize? Like, I ain't got no Mac Mama lesson books up on Amazon or any platform whatsoever. You get my books. That one, the Furnace book, okay? Furnace. And This Black. Oh, these are excellent stories. Beautiful books. It's a series, okay? You're gonna get empowered. 100%. You're not going to be looking at us anymore, let alone yourself, as anything but amazing as you were fashioned to be. Okay? All right. I said all I need to say, and this is probably longer than I wanted it to be, but I thank Brother Black up in your too, Mad Black, for letting me know. He didn't come to me personally, but I saw and watched his video about how Paris is now getting married. I didn't ever know, because I done left them chicks so far alone that you don't see me talking about them that much, because I don't care. I've moved. I'm too happy to be. Maybe I don't want to stop in the future if I need to talk about them. I'm just saying, they're nothing. Okay? We are everything. Straight black family pride, and we are good forever. Peace and blessings. Oh, and I will also be offering my liposomal vitamin C shortly, because we've maximized our ability to produce it. It's just